The two sons of Varathan burned low in the orange sky. The ground was dry and cracked, a desert that stretched for miles. In the center of that wasteland stood a single human, Captain Elias Roan. His gray armor was broken, his energy rifle shattered beside him. A deep wound marked his left shoulder, but he stood tall, breathing slow and steady. All around him, a great army gathered. The alien warriors of Vareen, 300 in number, formed a circle, their long plasma spears raised toward him. Their bodies were tall and strong, covered with dark blue scales that shimmered under the sun. Their eyes glowed faint yellow, and their armor hummed softly with power. They shouted in their language, harsh and sharp like metal scraping stone. Elias could not understand their words, but their meaning was clear. They wanted him dead. The Vareen warlord rode forward on a massive beast with 6 legs and a hide like stone. He was taller than any of his warriors, his armor carved with strange golden symbols. The warlord stopped in front of Elias and spoke through a translator drone that floated beside him. "Human," the machine translated, "you walked on sacred ground. You broke the law of the Vareen. For this you die." Elias stayed silent. His breath was slow, his eyes fixed on the alien army surrounding him. His ship, the Argent Dawn, had crashed 3 days ago in these sands after a failed peace mission. His crew was gone, some dead, some missing. He had wandered for days searching for help, only to be captured by these warriors. Now he faced 300 spears with nothing in his hands but dust and hope. The warlord raised his weapon, a great spear glowing with blue fire. "Do you have last words, human?" Elias looked at him, then at the sky. His lips moved quietly. "Not last words," he said softly. "Just a promise." The warlord frowned. "What promise?" Elias looked down at his right hand. Beneath the blood and dirt, something faint began to glow. It was not light from his armor. It came from his skin itself. Strange lines, golden and bright, formed a circular mark on the back of his hand. The glow pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. The Vareen shouted in surprise. Several of them stepped back. The warlord narrowed his eyes. "What is that?" "I don't know," Elias said truthfully. "It started glowing the moment I crashed here." He had noticed it for the first time when he was crawling from the wreckage. His med scanner could not identify it. The mark burned gently but caused no pain. It felt alive. The warlord gave a cold laugh. "Tricks of light will not save you." He raised his spear. "Vareen, advance!" The army moved as one. 300 warriors stepped forward, their spears crackling with blue plasma. Elias took a single step back, his boots sinking into the sand. His mind raced. He had no weapon, no escape, no chance. Then the mark burned brighter. A low hum filled the air, deep and powerful. The wind stopped. The world seemed to hold its breath. The Vareen froze mid-step. The light from Elias's hand became blinding. Golden energy spread through the air like waves, bending dust and light around him. The glow painted his face, his armor, even the sky above. The ground began to vibrate. Every Vareen's weapon flickered and died. Their plasma spears dimmed to gray metal. Their armor lost power, lights turning black. One by one, they fell to their knees. The warlord's beast roared and sank down too, trembling as if crushed by unseen weight. The warlord stared at Elias with wide eyes, his voice trembling. "He bears the sign of the first son." The translator drone repeated the words in English. Elias frowned. "The what?" No answer came. The warriors bowed their heads low, pressing their foreheads to the sand. The mark on Elias's hand glowed in steady rhythm, calm and gentle now, as if satisfied. Elias lowered his arm, breathing heavily. He didn't know what just happened. He looked around. The entire army was kneeling before him. He took a cautious step forward. None moved. The warlord lifted his head slightly and looked at the mark again. His voice was quiet, filled with fear and awe. "You are of them. Of the ones who came before. The Makers." Elias shook his head. "I don't understand. I'm from Earth. I'm just a soldier." The warlord stared at him for a long time. Then he climbed down from his beast and walked slowly through the kneeling warriors. When he reached Elias, he removed his helmet, revealing a face marked by deep blue lines of age. "Then your world has forgotten," the alien said. "The Makers were humans. Long ago, before our oldest histories, they ruled the stars. They built the gates, the suns, the worlds. When they vanished, they left a promise that one day one of their blood would return, marked by the light of soul." Elias blinked. The mark on his hand pulsed again. stronger this time, as if answering the words. The warlord dropped to one knee before him, bowing his head. The heir of Sol has returned. The oath of the Varine is yours. The wind rose again, carrying the sound of their voices as the warriors repeated the words in a deep chant. Heir of Sol, heir of Sol. Elias stood still, his thoughts spinning. A forgotten human empire? Ancient rulers of the stars? He had heard of old myths from the deep archives, but nothing like this. Could it be true? The mark seemed to burn hotter with every heartbeat. Images flashed behind his eyes. Planets covered in light, giant gates floating between suns, ships shaped like living metal. And in all of them, humans stood at the center. The vision faded, leaving him trembling. He looked at the warlord. If what you say is true, then what happens now? The alien looked up. Now we serve. The Varine were born to protect the blood of Sol. We waited for your return. You will come with us to the citadel of the ancients. There you will learn what you are. Elias hesitated. And if I refuse? The warlord gave a small, respectful bow. Then we will still follow. Our oath does not depend on your will. Elias sighed. Great. An army I didn't ask for. The warlord tilted his head, not understanding the humor. The air speaks strangely. Elias gave a tired smile. Yeah, I get that a lot. As the twin suns sank below the horizon, the Varine army rose in silence. They surrounded Elias, not as prisoners would surround their captor, but as guards protect their leader. Their armor hummed again, powered now by golden energy that came from the mark on his hand. They began their march toward the distant mountains where the citadel waited. Elias followed, still unsure if this was a dream or destiny. He looked once more at his glowing hand. The mark had changed shape slightly, forming a spiral with a single line running through it, like a rising sun. What are you? He whispered to it. The mark pulsed once, as if answering. Far above them, hidden beyond the clouds, satellites that had slept for thousands of years suddenly flickered to life. Their signals awakened ancient networks. Across the stars, silent machines turned their gaze toward Varathan. Something old had awakened, and for the first time in ages, the galaxy whispered a name long forgotten: human. The next morning, the light of two suns rose over the mountains of Varathan. Golden rays touched the ancient stone towers of the citadel of the ancients, a fortress older than the memory of any living creature. Elias Rohn stood at the entrance of the citadel, surrounded by the Varine warriors who had once tried to kill him. Their armor now glowed faintly with the same golden light as the mark on his hand. They followed him not with fear but with faith. Elias looked up at the giant stone gates before him. Strange symbols were carved across them, circles, stars, and lines that looked like constellations. The mark on his hand began to shine, matching the patterns. He turned to the warlord beside him. You're sure this is the place? The warlord bowed. Yes, Lightbearer. This citadel was built by your ancestors. Only the heir of Sol can open its heart. Elias exhaled slowly. I told you, I'm not anyone's heir. I'm just a man who crashed his ship. But deep down, a quiet voice in his mind whispered otherwise. The mark on his hand pulsed again, as if it disagreed with him. They entered the citadel. The great doors opened with a deep rumble when Elias placed his marked hand on the center stone. Inside, the air smelled of old dust and metal. The walls were lined with tall crystal pillars, each one holding faint images that moved like mist, scenes from a forgotten time. As Elias walked deeper, the walls began to glow softly. The misty images grew clearer, humans walking among stars, building great cities on floating platforms, standing beside alien allies. These are the makers, said the warlord in a low voice. Your kind, before the silence came. Elias stopped at one image. It showed a man raising a glowing hand surrounded by alien races kneeling before him. Exactly what had happened in the desert. His heart beat faster. Why did they disappear? Elias asked. The warlord looked away. No one knows. Some say they went beyond the stars. Others say they fell in a great war. But their promise was clear. Their blood would return, carrying the light of Sol to wake the old worlds. Elias stared at the glowing mark. And that's me? Yes, the warlord said simply. Elias felt a mix of fear and wonder. He had always believed humanity was new to the stars, explorers in a vast and ancient galaxy. But now it seemed humans had been here before, long before history began. They reached the inner chamber, a wide hall filled with strange machines and a single massive door made of smooth silver. The door had no handles, only a circular indentation shaped exactly like the mark on Elias's hand. Elias stepped closer. The mark started to glow brighter, spreading golden light through the whole room. "Whatever is behind this door," Elias said softly, "has been waiting a very long time." He placed his hand against the silver surface. The metal rippled like water. Energy rushed through his arm, warm, heavy, powerful. The floor lit up with lines of gold, forming a giant pattern that spread across the hall. The air vibrated with a deep hum that grew louder until it felt like the heartbeat of the planet itself. The Varine fell to their knees again. The warlord covered his eyes. "The beacon of Sol awakens!" The silver door opened slowly, revealing a massive chamber beyond. Inside floated a glowing sphere the size of a house, covered in golden lines and slowly rotating in the air. Its light filled the chamber like sunlight through water. Elias walked toward it, feeling both drawn and afraid. The closer he came, the more the mark on his hand pulsed. Then a voice spoke, not out loud, but directly into his mind. "Welcome, child of Sol, you have returned." Elias froze. "Who's there?" "I am the memory of the Dominion. I have waited for the blood to awaken me." "The Dominion?" Elias whispered. "You mean the old human empire?" "Yes. When the stars fell silent, we hid our knowledge inside this world. You, heir of Sol, carry the key to rebuild what was lost." Images filled his mind. Star systems connected by glowing gates, vast fleets flying under the human banner, and worlds thriving under the light of peace. But among the images came flashes of war, burning cities, collapsing stars, and machines that destroyed entire planets. "Why did it fall?" he asked aloud. "Pride," the voice said softly. "The makers forgot their duty. They ruled, but they stopped to care. You must not repeat their path." The mark burned suddenly, brighter than ever before. A beam of golden light shot from his hand into the sphere. The entire citadel shook. The ground outside trembled as energy spread through Varathan, activating ancient machines buried deep below the surface. Across the sky, golden symbols appeared like stars being reborn. The Varine looked up in awe. "The beacon!" shouted one warrior. "It calls to the stars." Elias turned to the warlord, his eyes wide. "What's happening?" The warlord looked both amazed and terrified. "You have sent a signal to the old worlds. Every empire in the galaxy will see it. They will know the heir of Sol has returned." Elias felt a cold weight in his chest. "That means others will come. Not just humans." "Yes," the warlord said. "Some will come to kneel, others to destroy." That night, the citadel stood like a sun in the mountains, glowing so brightly it could be seen from space. Elias watched the horizon from the tower's edge. The stars looked different now, alive, aware. He felt the mark's warmth fade to a gentle pulse. "What now?" he whispered. The warlord stood beside him. "Now, Lightbearer, you lead. The oath of the Varine is yours. We will fight beside you." Elias smiled faintly. "I'm no leader. I'm just a soldier trying to survive." The warlord looked at him with deep respect. "That is why you will lead well." Elias didn't answer. He was thinking of Earth, of how far away it was. Would they even believe him if he could return? Would they want to? He turned his gaze to the stars again. Somewhere out there, signals were traveling faster than light, awakening other ancient machines, calling out to hidden colonies and lost descendants of humankind. The galaxy was waking up. 3 days later, the first ships appeared in the sky, not human but alien, sleek, silver, and sharp-edged. The Varine alarm towers blared in warning. Elias ran to the command deck of the citadel. "Are they enemies?" The warlord checked the readings. "Unknown. Their markings do not match any living empire. They must be from the old age, one of the races that served the Dominion." The ship stopped high above the citadel. A beam of blue light struck the ground, and a group of tall beings appeared, their bodies thin and luminous like living glass. Their leader stepped forward, bowing low. "Child of Sol," it said in a voice that sounded like wind through crystal. "We saw the beacon. We have waited for your return." Elias stared in disbelief. You serve the Dominion too?" "We did," said the being. "And we remember both its greatness and its fall. The galaxy is not ready for your kind to rise again. Some will come to destroy you before the past returns." The warlord growled. "Let them come. We will protect the air. Elias looked between them. He could feel the mark pulsing stronger now, responding to the presence of the new arrivals. I didn't want this, Elias said quietly, but maybe this is what I was meant to find. He looked at the glowing mountains, the kneeling Vereen, and the silent alien fleet above. If the galaxy fears humanity's return, he said slowly, then we'll show them the truth that we can be better this time. He raised his hand. The golden mark flared like a star, and the Citadel lights answered, glowing brighter. The alien ships above bowed slightly, lowering their weapons. In that moment, Elias Rohn, the lost human soldier, became something more. Not a conqueror, not a god, but a reminder that humanity was still here, still fighting, still worthy of the stars. And across the galaxy, ancient machines whispered to one another, "The heir of Saul has awakened. The second dawn begins."